So we'll get started. So welcome everyone. So excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us to discuss the visa process and immigration well, I guess I'm going to say US, but Noa will tell us everything that she has. And so I'll introduce her. She's Noa Roth. She is an amazing immigration lawyer and actually one of ARINGO consultant's spouse. So she has been through it herself and is here in the US, located here, and helps many people with their immigration questions and issues, and hopefully also smooth transitions as well. So I'll let you introduce yourself further, Noa, and then kind of take it away.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm excited to be here. And congratulations for you all for being admitted um, to MBA, to the MBA programs. Um, I've been there. I mean, my spouse has completed an MBA program. It's going to be it's a life-changing experience, the most eventful 2 years ahead. So I'm so excited for you guys. Um, I'm gonna go over my slides. I'm gonna pause from time to time to let you ask some questions. So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any question you want. And again, we'll have time for questions as well. All right. So Jan described, I've been in the States for 8 years now, and I've been working as an immigration attorney for the last 6 years. And today I'm located in the Boston area, by the way. So shout out to all the HBS loan individuals here. Today we'll discuss the student visas. F1 is the most popular one, but we also have the J visa that some of you may be eligible to apply for. We'll discuss the most popular work visa, which is the H-1B. And we'll discuss some immigrant visa options, also known as green card, and options for self-sponsorship. All right. So the US immigration law is divided to two categories, two big categories. We have the non-immigrant visas that the most popular is the visitor visa, type B. We have the student's visa, F and J are the most popular ones. We have the temporary employees visa, H-1B that I've mentioned, and L visa is the relocation visa. If you have friends that recently relocated to the States, they must probably have the L visa. If you are a citizen of Canada or Mexico, you may be eligible for TN visa. If you are a citizen of Australia, you may be eligible for E3 visa. And if you're a citizen of Singapore, you may be eligible for H1B1. It's nice to have. One time I had a consult with an Israeli citizen, and they told me, "Oh, I'm a citizen of Chile. Is it going to help me?" Yes, there is a special visa for individuals from Chile. So if you have any other type of citizenship, please share. There are certain profession visas like R for religious workers and O for extraordinary individuals. This is the non-immigrant visas. It's always temporary, always time limited, and you have to comply with the conditions of your visa. The second category is the immigrant visas, also known as green cards. There is the humanitarian category for refugees, immediate relatives. If you have a spouse, a parent, or a child who is a US citizen, also a sibling, theoretically, they may sponsor you for a green card. And we have the employment-based. If you have special skills, if you have American employer sponsoring you, you may be eligible for a green card. I'll pause here to see if we have any questions or remarks before I dive into the student visas. So,
Hey, Noah, real
yes.
quick, if you don't mind, I feel like there's maybe a little disconnect in your headphones because it's a little bit choppy when you're speaking.
Oh, I see a remark here. Wait, I'll get rid of my AirPods. Can you hear me better now?
I think so.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jen, for letting me know. All right. So let's continue with the student visa. Are we okay with the sound, Jen?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So most of you got the notice that you have been admitted to grad school. So the go-to visa is the F1. You must be enrolled for a full-time program, and you must have the sufficient funds available to self-support yourself. School will provide you with form that's called I-20, and then you'll go ahead and apply for your student visa online. You'll pay the fee, and then you'll attend an interview at a US embassy or consulate abroad in your home country. Once you are here on F visa, after graduation, most of you will be eligible for 3 years of OPT, which in English, employment. And it's gonna be in 2 steps. Initially, you'll receive 12 months of employment. You will have to apply for a work authorization, which gives you the opportunity to seek employment and to work for 1 year. Near the end of that year, you will be eligible to apply for extension, 24-month extension for STEAM programs. Now, most of the MBA programs are classified as STEAM, STEM programs, which is a gift because it's been only for the last 5 years, 5 or 4 years. So your fellow MBA alumni were eligible for only 1 year of employment. So this is a big change. But the caveat is that if you are traveling with family, your spouse is not eligible to work or to study. In some places, they are not eligible to volunteer even. So that's why some people are interested in the J1 visa. Again, you must be enrolled to the grad school program, and you also have to find or to have a third party that sponsors at least 50% of your tuition. Now, the J1 program, for some professions, there is a 2-year home residency requirement, meaning that at the end of your studies, you have to return to your home country for at least 2 years. It's not applicable to MBA programs, but be aware of it because sometimes the consulates and embassies abroad they do make mistakes and classify the visa under the 2-year home residency requirement. And it's really hard to overcome it if you use that visa and enter the States under this kind of visa. So be aware. If you are eligible for J1, you have the third party sponsoring you. School will provide you with Form DS 2019. And then the same process. You have to apply online for the J visa, pay the fee, attend an interview, and you'll receive the visa in your passport. Now, unlike the F1 visa, the J1 visa allows you only 18 months of academic training, or in English, 18 months of employment. This is for 2-year master's programs. So if your program is only of 1 year, 9 months, you will be eligible for only 9 months of employment. So it's a big difference from the F1 visa, 18 months against 36 months. But your spouse will be eligible to apply for employment authorization, and they will be eligible to work throughout the whole stay in the States, while the principal applicant is studies and works. The spouse can work throughout the whole time. So it helps. I'll pause here for questions. Usually I get questions on this slide.
I wanted to ask,
Mm-hmm.
can you repeat what are the conditions for the J1?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
So yes, no, thank you. So you must have a third party. Usually it's a company, a scholarship that covers at least 50% of your tuition for the entire program. If you have a third party that is going to cover your tuition, they'll have to provide you with a letter indicating that they're going to cover the expense and how much they're going to cover. And then with this letter, you go to the ISO, the International Student Office at your school, provide them with this letter, and they have to approve it and provide you with Form DS 2019.
And I assume that if I talk to the office that is doing the visas and I'll tell them that I'm looking for the J1, that they'll know to tell me what I need to give them, right?
No, usually you have to initiate the conversation and say, I have such and such that they're going to cover this amount of my tuition. Sometimes it's going to be a combination. If you have a scholarship from school, so school covers 20% and you have to add 30% from a third party.
Okay, and one last question. Let's say I have the 18-month and I work for a company. Do I then, will I be able to get any other visa through the job?
Excellent question, because you're taking me to my next slide. So let's do a case study. It's very common.
Can I still ask a question about the previous slide?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, you said that in F2 visa, the spouses are not allowed to work at all. Does that also include working remotely in a non-US company?
Yeah, so the short answer is no. If you don't have a work authorization or another work visa or any other status that allows you to work, you're not eligible to do any employment whatsoever. for your employer abroad, even if you get compensated via your local bank account in your home country with foreign currency. Foreign, I mean like shekels currency. You're not allowed to work at all.
Thank you. And I do have like one follow-up question. If I
Sure.
do the visa and we're not married, is that better to do the visa while we're already married, or is it possible for me to get the visa while we're not married and then for them to join me on the visa on a later stage?
Yeah, so in order to be eligible for a spouse visa or for a visa based on your spouse visa, you must present a marriage certificate. So unfortunately, what is called common law marriage in Israel, it's yaduim betzibur, is not going to apply here. You must present a marriage certificate. You don't have to be married in a fancy ceremony. You just need the certificate itself. And maybe, I mean, another common question that I'm being asked is if online marriage sufficient? Yes. I mean, people getting married. I know it's popular in Utah to get married in Utah online. So yes, it's possible as long as you and your spouse are at the same place.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I got it. What I meant in the question was that if it's possible for me to do the F1 visa on my own, and then later, maybe 1 month later, we would get married and then they would apply for the F2 visa. Would that be possible, or do I need to be married while I'm applying to the F1 visa?
Oh, it's possible. If you get married after you have the F1 visa, they can apply for the F2 visa. If it's a pretty recent marriage, they may ask you to show that the marriage are authentic, and by authentic they are going to look at your financials. So you have to show commingling of financials. That's the only caveat. Sometimes they do not go and explore it, and sometimes they do do the further inquiries into the checking if the marriage is real. So yes, this is the only caveat. And I see a question in the chat about the percentage of MBA admits have difficulty getting an F1 or don't get a visa at all. So when you apply for a visa, any kind of visa, they're going to look at your immigration history. So if you have been in the States on another type of visa and you overstayed your visa, or you worked without authorization, or you have any issues with open criminal charges, especially drug related, you will most probably be denied the visa. And if you have any specific issues, you're welcome to email me or to side chat me later to discuss special circumstances.
Can I ask a question as well?
Sure.
It's actually, this is a question. So, yeah, about you said that you have to go for an interview in the embassy. In case that I'm going to be in the US already when I'm applying for the visa, does that mean that I will have to leave the US, interview in certain other embassy, for example, the Mexican embassy, and then come back?
Yeah, it's possible to change status from within the United States. Not with ESTA though. So if you're planning on entering with ESTA, you must leave the country and re-enter with the appropriate visa. But if you are in the States under, for example, B visa, the visitor visa, you don't have to leave. You can apply for change of status and change your status from B to F, for example, and start studying. It's more expensive to do that, and you are stuck in the States while your application is pending, so it's not advisable. It is also not advisable to go and ask for the visa in Toronto or in Mexico City or in other locations, because the refusal rates for citizens that have no relationship to the country interviewing them is higher. So if you are a citizen of Israel, I highly recommend you to do it from Israel. And the wait times for interviews in Tel Aviv is nothing. It's like you can get an interview in a week.
Yeah. What if I have another passport, and I ready to take the interview in the other country where I have the passport, for example, a Portuguese passport?
Mhm.
Does that give me any kind of an advantage?
Yes, maybe. When you apply for a student visa, you have to show that you have intent to return to your home country. So you have to show ties to your home country. So if you can present ties to Portugal, with ties, I mean financial, familial, cultural ties. So yeah, sure, go ahead and do it. But if not, it might be a problem. By financial ties, I said bank accounts, real property, savings, and the location of your family, your extended family members as well. So unless you can show that, I highly recommend you to go with your home country and do it at your home country, especially when you don't have much time. I mean, we are in April next week. And I guess you would like to be in the States in about 4 months or less. So I strongly advise you to do it from your home country.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hey,
I have
can
another
I
question.
ask? Oh,
Sorry.
Yes, you will.
Sure. Oh, okay. So you mentioned that if we are newly wed, they might get into our finance, and we have separate bank accounts. So my question is, if I don't know, rent contract is enough, like if we share the same apartment, or they will not say assurance in terms of I don't know, bank statements or something like that.
Yeah, if you're newlyweds, they sometimes will inquire your marriage, sometimes they won't. Most probably with J visas, I would say, rather than with F visas. It's okay that if you have separate bank accounts, you can show joint lease, pictures of you throughout the years, electricity bills, cell phone bills if you have the same cell phone membership. If it's an overkill, but affidavits.
Rent contracts will be sufficient, or it's not enough?
What contracts?
Rent.
Oh yeah, lease. Yeah,
Rental.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
joint lease is enough. Is
Joint
more
lease
than
is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Hey.
Yeah, Niv.
Yeah. Beside of the letter of intention of funding my MBA, is there any chance that someone will then reach out to the sponsor and ask questions or want to see the actual funding or something like that?
Theoretically, yes. I've never had any experience with such inquiries into that. It usually happens when there is a fraud going on with a certain agency, so they go and look at the agency and inquire all the students that they have sponsored. But if it's a privately held company, the chances are slim.
And it should be located in the US, so isn't maybe the company can be located in Israel or something like that?
Usually the company is located in the home country, which means in Israel or in another country, and to show that they would like to sponsor the candidate, the student, for the student visa, in aspirations that they will after return to the home country and maybe take an executive role at the company.
Yeah, I get it. And the 2-year requirement is not applicable if the funding is coming from Israel. It doesn't matter whether it's a US company or an Israeli company.
No, the 2-year residency requirement is related to the occupation. It applies mostly for physicians or other people in the medical industry.
Great, thank you.
Sure. And I think we had one last question before I move on with the other work visas, is how long is the process for the visa? So you have to complete an online application. So, and it takes, it depends how fast you are, but it takes about 1 hour to complete the application online. You then have to pay the fee and schedule an interview. The interview availabilities in Tel Aviv is pretty good. You can get an interview within 1 week or 2. That given that the embassy is functioning and open, the embassy was shut during October and November 2023, so it caused many delays, but hopefully knock wood, it's going to stay open. I would like, maybe you can find online the I can share it later because I don't have it open. But you can see the times, the waiting times for an interview. I'll share it later at the end. But in Tel Aviv, it's a couple of days. It's not that bad. All right. Let's move on to our case study, a very common one. Let's say that you're a citizen of Israel with no other citizenship. It happens, right? And Rona works in consulting and was admitted to graduate school. She received the F1. She secured her job, but it's valid for only 3 years. So what is she going to do next? Now, the common path to green card, or you can stop with the work visa, is from F visa to H1B, and then your American employer may sponsor you for a green card. H1B is the most popular work visas for graduate school students. The problem is that there is a quota of 85,000 visas per year. You must have a job offer from an American employer. This year, there is a new regulation got in, which says that your own company may sponsor you for your H-1B visa. So this is new. Let's see how it rolls out this year. There is a window, a 2 weeks window, where your employer must register you to the lottery. It's a lottery system because there is a quota. So that's a lottery system. You have 2 weeks in March to register, and the position requires at least a bachelor's degree that you all have. If you win the lottery, you can stay for 3 years with an extension available for another 3 years, so up to 6 years. Now, what happens if you don't win the lottery? There are options. I've mentioned there are options for citizens of Chile, Singapore, Australia, Canada, and Mexico. But if you happen not be either of those, your employer may sponsor you for a green card. Now, there are many categories. I'm not going to go into details, but with MBA, you will be eligible for this category, the second category with advanced degree. Again, you must have a job offer, meaning you must have an American employer sponsor you. If you don't, and you feel like self-sponsoring yourself for a green card, it's possible. There are two categories here. The first one is the most prestigious one, and you have to show extraordinary ability in your arena, or you have to show you have exceptional ability and that your project is going to benefit the national interest of the United States. Here you don't need an American employer. You don't need a job offer, but the standard, the bar is higher. Other type of work visas, temporary work visas that are not going to turn into green cards are O visa for individuals with also extraordinary ability. Here you need a job offer, but you can also have an agent sponsoring you. So there is a caveat here. Or e-visa, it's very popular among Israelis. If you have Israeli company or American company doing business with each other, or you would like to invest money and start your own enterprise in the US, you may be eligible for E2 visa. I'll pause here to see. I know it's been like, it was very a bit overwhelmed. Overwhelming, I'm sorry. So I'll pause here and see if you have any questions.
Yeah, I have a question about the student visa, the F1. I know that it's possible to work as a student 20 hours a month. Is that true for every sorts of a job, or only things that related to my profession?
Yeah, only work that related to your studies, and you must verify your employment in advance with the International Student Office. Once you have the F visa, the I-20, the form that the school provides you with, is the like your manual for your visa. They list what you are allowed to do and what you're allowed to do. So if you wish to work, you have to go to your International Student Office at your school and tell them, I have a job offer from such and such. I would like to work for them. And they have to verify the employer and update your I-20 with the name and location of the employment. And only then you can start working for them. So it's very regulated. By the way, if just a interesting fact is that it's the Department of Homeland Security decided to I don't know how to call it, not to spy, to like register all the foreign students, all the foreign internationals, foreign international study in the US after 9/11. It was one change that the government has made. So the government would like to know where you work, what you study, and who is responsible for you. So you have to approve everything with school before you start working.
I have another question related to the last slide, actually, but it's going to be a quick one. If I had a visitor, a tourist visa that been rejected about 10 years ago. Is it affecting my ability to receive a student visa? Because it's considered to be like a record, no?
Yeah, so you must disclose that you've been denied a visa in the past. You must disclose it when you apply for the student visa. And if you have never been in the States, or you've been approved for a visa later in your life, I don't see. It's very unlikely that you will face any issue this time.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to summarize. Some of you would like just to visit the States, study, go back to your home countries. For you, it's very easy. Go with the F visa. It's the best visa available for you. But for you who don't, and maybe have like longer term plans, have a plan, okay? Because immigration is slow. I've been here under the first Trump administration, and it's been slower under that administration. Maybe it's going to be slower this time as well. So have a plan, because it takes time to execute that plan. Negotiate with future employers. In some professions, some arenas, some industries, it's not easy to find American employees. So you can negotiate your green card when applying for a job. Maybe your spouse can help. You don't need me to tell you that, but some of you listed that you have a spouse who is an American citizen, so they can sponsor you for a green card. And the most important thing, maintain legal status at all times. Meaning you don't start employment without employment authorization or without an approval from the International Student Office in your school. You don't overstay your visa. You don't work on your tourist visa, obviously. Maintain legal status at all times, because it may have significant implications on your applications later on. All right. Do you have any other questions? It's been fun. And we have about 15 minutes left.
I have some questions.
Yeah, please.
I have a few. So the first one is, I got an email from one of the universities that I need, and you mentioned that the sufficient funds, like I need to have proof that I have the sufficient funds. Where do I get it from? Is it from my bank account? Like, who will give me that information?
Yeah, so it depends of the origin of your funds. If the funds are located in your bank account, you should provide them with a bank account statement, תדפיס חשבון bank. Or
Okay.
if it's a savings account, you should provide them with your savings statement, showing the funds that are available to you. Now, pensions don't work because the pension is not available for you. So the funds must be available for you for use.
Okay. And okay. And for the partner, is a EU citizenship does it help in any way with their visa?
So today, since Israel is under the visa waiver program under ESTA, there is no, I don't see how it helps.
Or like work visa or anything, it doesn't help that.
EU, no, there is no special work visa. available. Moreover, I would recommend them to apply with the citizenship of their home country, meaning if they are Israeli, they should use the Israeli passport because they would need to show an intent to return to their home country once the program is done. So if they can show any ties to the EU country, it's going to be a problem.
Okay, and two last questions.
Of course.
One, the marriage certificate, does it need to be translated with any kind of like notary approval, apostille, or like anything?
Yeah.
How does it work?
So the marriage certificate, it doesn't have to be, it has to be with a certified translation. I can share with you, I know that notary in Israel is like outrageously expensive. I can share with you a very good service for translations. I have no connection to them. Sometimes I work with them. You can upload your document there. It costs $25 per page for a certified translation, and that's it. You'll get it. You can print it and use it with your visa application.
Okay, and last thing, can it be a problem if the partner is applying for a work visa with their employer at the same time as I will apply for the F1 visa, let's say?
Why would it be a problem?
No, I don't know, because I know with the work visa, they need to explain why that person needs to go and work from the US, like it has certain things. And then if they connect that the reason that the employer are moving them to the US, then it can be a problem. I don't know.
I see. So I think if that's your scenario, it's the best scenario ever because the spouse would be eligible to work with his employer and you can do your own thing and study. So I think it's the best scenario if you're able to do that. The relocation visa, I guess it's going to be an L visa for him based on the facts that you described.
I don't know. It's just a possibility now that his employer has not yet approved. So
okay,
that's wishful thinking. I'm just
okay. Your spouse would have to go through a different process to show like the same thing like you described, that they are their presence is required in the States in order to complete their job duties. They're going to examine the application unrelated to you. So it's going to be a different process. You have to bear in mind that for families in America, sometimes one spouse works in New York and the other and another spouse works in California, and they meet like every couple of months or during the weekends. Or I mean, the fact that you move together doesn't mean that it's the way to do it, to live as a family. So they're going to look at your applications separately.
okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Amit?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If I'm doing the J1 visa and my spouse doing the J2, and then he can move also to H1B visa, right? Separately. And if one of us gets like H1B visa, can the other one get like H2B visa, like the J2? Like
I understand. I understand the question.
Okay.
So yeah, if one spouse you must be married. You must provide a marriage certificate. That's step number 0. If you do, the spouse is eligible for age 4, and in most cases, they are not eligible to seek employment. They won't have any work authorization unless there are other circumstances that most probably not applicable to you. Unless you are in the process of getting your green card and you are on a certain step on the process, and then the spouse can apply for work authorization. But the age 4 itself, no, they won't be eligible to work.
So the best way to get, because we are moving as a family, so and not working 20 months, it's already more than enough. And I'm trying to figure out what is the best way for us to stay in the US, because I probably want to continue to work in the US afterward.
Yeah. So J visa is your best shot, because if you can find sponsorship, so the spouse can ask for work authorization with J2 visa. I think it was Noam who mentioned that if your spouse employer may sponsor them to relocate to the States, it's going to be obviously a better option. And the third option is for the spouse to seek employment by himself. I mean, if he is on a J2 visa and they work for American employer, and the American employer is very happy with them, they can register them to the H-1B visa. And then they'll have H-1B, and you will graduate from excellent school, and you'll be very you will have a great opportunity with another employer, and your employer may sponsor you for the H-1B or the green card. So each of you has their own path. Did that answer your question?
And sorry, just one following question for just
no problem.
And I heard that you can switch from J1 to F1. Can you tell a little bit about this? Because
if you switch to F1, you will be eligible for the full time of OPT, meaning for the 12 plus 24 months, only if you have at least 2 semesters left. So you can change to F1, but it's better to do it at the end of the second semester if you have a 2-year program.
Thank you very much for everything.
Of course.
I have a question regarding sufficient proof. You said that you have to show, when you apply for the F1, you have to show sufficient proof that you're going to come back to your home country. Can you tell what could it be? And also, when they ask about sufficient fund, what exactly are we talking about in terms of numbers? And if investing account gonna be good enough?
Yeah, so the tuition, the numbers are different with each school. So you have to check out your school to see what exactly the tuition is. And the second question was about your funds, right?
No, yeah, I ask about no. So you have to show a proof that you're going to go back to your home country, right?
Yeah.
In the interview or when you apply for the F1. I want to ask what those proofs can be, like what's considered to be as a proof.
Yeah. So if you've been living in the same country for your whole life and your family members, your extended family members are there, if you have savings, your paid pensions there, it should be sufficient for F visa.
All right. And the second question, it's about, so they ask to see a sufficient funds for maintaining yourself for the first year, right?
Yeah, for the entire period.
For the entire period. How
Yeah.
much is it? Like how much they ask to see?
So it depends, because HBS, our business school tuition is like, I don't know, 80,000 a year, and you have other schools which are 50 something a year. So you have to check with your school.
So, for example, if I'm studying in HBS, I have to show 160,000 plus whatever
Plus.
gonna cost me to live there.
Correct.
Okay, I see.
It's not only the tuition, it's also living expenses.
Yeah.
Each one of the schools will give you that formula as part of the I-20 process as well.
Yeah, awesome. And can I show an investment account like Interactive Brokers account as my account of funds?
Yes, if the money is available to you for instant use. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
I have a question.
Hi.
Oh, okay. Go on, Shah.
Okay, thank you. I also have a question about the F1 visa. When I got the I-20 from the school, the funding is like is separated to a few categories: the fellowship from the school, personal funds, and funds from another source. Does like sponsorship from a family member, which kind of category is that? Does that fit into?
Is it a gift?
Like, yeah, from a family member.
So
Not
it's under
like-
personal funds.
Okay, so if I have like in the I-20, I have like some amount in the personal funds, and I like bring a letter from the bank that approves that this specific person has these funds, and a letter that shows their intent to sponsor my studies. Is that okay?
Yeah, for the I-20 requirements, yes.
Okay, so it's not like another source, it's like personal.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I have a question about where to do the interview. I'm a Canadian citizen, but currently living in the UK. I probably intend to return to Canada. Can I do the interview here in London, or do I have to fly back to Canada?
For how long have you been residing there?
2 years.
And is it a temporary?
Like I'm here on an employer-sponsored visa, so I would use that visa when I go to do the MBA.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, you can apply with your Canadian passport in London, since you've been residing there for quite some time now.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure.
So I have another question. Let's say my partner is on J2 visa and applying for work permit. Is it okay to do the application like in US and then to leave the country in the meantime, waiting for the answer?
So it may cause delays. So I do not recommend doing that. I recommend staying until they get the work permit and then depart the country.
But how long it could take?
So it depends, roughly 2-3 months, but it is subject to change, because under the first Trump administration, and by the summer we'll be deep into this administration, it can take also 5 to 8 months as well. So hopefully it's not going to be, yes, hopefully it won't be the case for you, because right now processing times are 2-3 months.
But it is possible, like to I don't know, in 1 month to go to US just in order to applying for the work permit, come back to Israel, and then to come back later, enter again to US just to receive the work permit. It's possible, yeah. You said it may take a bit longer, but it's possible.
It's possible,
in the meantime,
but it's not advisable.
Not advisable. Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks.
All right. Sure, no problem. Okay, so we're time. I'll take just one last question from the chat about the job offer. Yes, it should be related to your studies.
Noah, where can I get your email?
I'll put my email in the chat.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome to email me. And Jen and Chimri have my email as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all of your insights and always being a great resource during this process.
Of course. Thank you, Jen and Chimri, for the opportunity.
Thanks, everyone, and also congratulations. It's exciting to have this next new nervous step.
Yeah.
Did you send your email in the chat for everybody? Because I can't see it. Sorry.
Yes, it's in the chat. And
Weird. Okay.
and I can email you separately, Noam.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Take care.
Right. Thank you
Bye,
all.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.